Greetings, everybody. Let me know if you can hear me okay in the chat over there. Sometimes this thing doesn't work right, so even though I see the lines moving around. And if that is working, then I will continue on here. I've been working, thanks Serpentine. I I've been working. Actually, yesterday I should have streamed. It's like I usually start up with something saying I don't know if I should stream this, and then halfway through it I'm like, oh yeah, that I should have streamed that. Um, Let me bring up the window you're seeing. I'm not. Okay, now I got it. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I did really briefly yesterday. I posted something in the forums about it, but I figured since I'm here, I might as well show it off a little bit. So let me just get to this place. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to log into the game through the editor, and that's going to let me show off stuff that I've done that's not yet patched into the game. We will see what we see. Just have to bring up the right window now. There. Okay, good. All right. So just waiting for the game to load. It takes a little bit longer to load in the editor, and it's also got really crappy FPS, so it'll definitely look like a slideshow. Okay. So if everything worked properly, we should actually go in here and find that all the deco I did yesterday just to show things off is still there. Which, yes, I'm a very bad deco person, so sadly, Justin can't deco stuff that's on my editor, so can't have her come in and do the Deco Diva thing. And it's been a long month. I know I haven't been streaming, and I need to get back into the pattern of that. I was working on sound effects for a long time. I still have a bunch of work more to do on the sound effects, but I have these things that I've promised to get done, so I am working on these now. I have a little bit more wrap-up work to do on the Lottie scene. I know I've been talking about the Lottie scene for months, so we'll get that done. And um, once that's finished, the Lottie scene, then I'll be free to move on to do other things, more in-depth dungeon stuff. It'll speed up the bug fixes and things along those lines. As you can see, the loading is a lot longer here. I'm still sitting at 50% because Unity likes to sit there and think about stuff. So, I mean, in effect, I'm compiling the game and running it on my own machine here, so there's a little bit of a delay. And there we jump to 64%, 65, and from here it should be pretty much normal. It's just that jump between 50 and, it gets up to 60 and stuff that there's a lot of internal grinding going on the machine. In other news, I also was working, or am working, I should say, on installing my 8 terabyte 8 terabyte SSD drive into the laptop. For those of you, I think one stream I went over my laptop specs. There's actually 4 hard drives in this laptop. Three of them are NVMe, and they can be in a RAID 5. I have a RAID 1 going, I think. Yeah, RAID 1, stripe between the two. And then there's a separate drive. That separate drive currently is a 2 terabyte, and it's good enough for what I'm doing, but I have intentions of doing a lot more for the game. Um, and not only will I need more drive space to store sound effects because I plan on going through the whole sound effects thing, but I also will be doing builds to help Chris out. This will allow us to get more QA builds out there on a more timely basis, and uh, and then if there's hot fixes or anything like that, that I could actually apply them as well. All right, so forgive the crappy dungeon transition because this is obviously just a test situation. Um, and right now my Twitch chat is being hidden, so I need to bring that up again. Sorry, guys, here. Hold on. Ah, kind of lost OBS. This out of the way. There. Okay. Cool. Now I can see it. Not that anybody's saying anything, but don't want to miss it because that's one of my flaws is that I don't look over there to see what the hell's going on. Okay, so I have decoed the entranceway, which is actually not typical. Going forward, my intention is to um, do decorations in the. This is from before when I was messing with it. I guess I got a torch stuck in the wall. No, I'll have to. No, it'll get destroyed later anyway. Um, But up until now, I believe that the hallways and entranceways into the rooms are not decoable, and I don't see a reason why that is. It would make sense to be able to have lights and stuff in the hallway, so I'm gonna go ahead and start retrofitting all that stuff and getting that in there. So I just have crap laying around to show off the fact that the walls are decoable and the floor is decoable. There's um, there's some other stuff in there too, but you guys will have to discover some of it. I'm not going to show everything. So the room itself, this is one of the rooms that I guess was coming up uh, to remind us that the issues were still there recently, and it's a small little room, but it's a great example of what I have to go through to get this stuff done. Um, So this room has no spawns in it, and it had no deco. So I'm doing the deco version of it, and what we'll probably do is, well, actually, I was thinking about it. This room is too small for a spawn. I really don't think that it would be a wise idea to even put a single, spawn in here. So unless you guys really insist on it, I don't think I'm going to make a spawn version of it. But with all that said, I took a lot of time. Uh, since this room came out of one of the dungeons, it was never meant to be decoed. The um, the collision, the wall collision that prevents you from walking through it, was actually like out here. It was along the line of this first tile. So if I put a deco collision in, a deco surface, it would have to be on top of that, which means everything would have floated way outside, way away from the wall, kind of like the distance that the cloaks are at right now, which of course is intentional. And what that uh, what that basically means is that everybody would have been upset about that. So I had to go through the whole thing and change all the collision and bring it back to the molding, so that way I could bring in the deco surface and make it, um, as you can see here, pretty close to the wall. I think it's as close as any other deco surface we have in the game, if not closer. I'm a little bit more fine-tuned with my numbers. I take more time on that than we have as a team in the past. So I'm going to be concentrating on this stuff so that way, they'll come out as good as possible. So, um, With that said, I put a deco strip along these flat areas here, and I just put cloaks up there to so people would know that that is deco surface area. And all four of the walls also are decoable all the way up to the top. Now, one of the things to note about this is that the deco surface does go through the molding that's up here. So if I take something, I could actually kind of bury it behind the molding. So that's expected for that the players will deco in good taste and avoid going on the molding. It's either that or I'd have to go in there and actually make little deco surfaces, um, and that it's not worth it. It's just there's no reason for that. Besides, there might be something that you could put in there, like a sconce or a wall-mounted candle or something like that, that would look good when it's sunk into the molding. So I'm more in favor of doing those types of things. Um, so the last thing is, and this is really complex, the ceiling, these the tops of these pedestals have what's called mesh collision, and the walls don't. The walls have a collision surface or a collision quad box that I can mess with while in the editor. If I go into the editor and show you this, you guys will get a headache. Um, the, uh, the collision that goes in here is we'll call it hard coded. It's editable if I go into 3ds Max, if I go into the actual 3D modeler to do it. So, but the problem there is that if I change the collision on this, it would change it for every single place that this is put in the game, as opposed to these walls where I could edit it just for this room. So with that said, down the road, yeah, I might go in here and edit this. So the point is that these arcs come up and then you have the molding and it's all like at an angle. So the collision is a flat line, but at at like a 30-degree angle that goes all the way to the center of that there. And that goes around the whole thing. So this means that if I even wanted to make it so that way, putting something on top of this molding, what ends up being a little bit of a channel of molding, um, I don't really have, it literally comes to a point like that. So I don't have any place to put it. So what I'm getting to here is this, the I think there, no, maybe, yeah, there. So the all the chandeliers are technically floating. Now, these chandeliers are just deco. So you guys could put them in if you want, don't put them in if you don't want. But I felt that was an ideal room to have this type of lighting and the ability to put lighting on that ceiling, even though that ceiling is, under normal circumstances, I don't think we would touch this for deco surface because, things need to be flat. But luckily, the chandeliers can go to that one little point and I could get them up there. And from the floor, they look fine. But from up here, they are definitely floating. So anyway, I hope you get the point, and I hope that's okay with y'all. That's the best it's going to get. Down the road, maybe I'll be able to go in there and fix the collision for custom dungeon rooms and things. If I'm going to reuse these assets at all, I'll do custom collision where these arms don't have collision at all because they're not going to be in a place where a player will run into them and and you'll run through them or anything. That would allow you to be able to be more flexible with decorations. Uh, yeah. So that's about it. I just wanted to show off this. This is what I spent my night doing yesterday, editing the collision and getting this all prepped up and figuring some things out. Once I've done this, I learned a lot from it, actually, little tricks of what I ended up doing to make these things happen. So now the next time I do a decoration surface on a room that was not intended to have decoration surface, I'll be able to do it a lot quicker but this room took 6 hours. So that's pretty much the point is that when people say, well, why don't they just do decoration surface? And yeah, it's not that easy. uh, okay, so that's about that. If anybody has any questions, obviously fire away. Um, but I wanted to show that off before I went off and did what I'm about to do. Being in the editor, I could just shut this off. Don't have to log out or nothing. If I could bring my editor up again. There it is. Okay. And we are back in the editor. All right. Now, what I was what I was actually just starting to work on, I did a map earlier this evening already, and it's kind of a Julia Child type of thing. But the yeah, the blue torches. Actually, I think the blue torches used to be in game someplace, but then they were pulled out or something. But yeah, that's a good point, and we should probably bring that up in a wish list someplace. Yes, that's right. Those are the welcome torches. Now, weren't they removed? Something along those lines, or they're rare, maybe? I can't remember what the circumstances were for it, but I remember being in game playing, and then then finding out that the torches were no longer available, and or something along those lines. But in any event, um, so let me see if I can remember which scene I fixed. Oh yeah, there's oh geez, if I could remember the name, that would be nice. Let's see here where it is. Oh, White Guard Foothills. Yeah. So the map for White Guard Foothills was kind of like mirror imaged of what it should be, and the avatar was. I think the avatar was walking in the direction that you thought you were walking, but it was actually like pointing west when it should have been east, something along those lines. I forget at this point. My mind's mush. So what I ended up doing was redoing the map because the map itself also was not quite as clear as I thought it could be. So I ended up recapturing the map completely. And then in Photoshop, I had to actually flip the map because some of the older scenes, the devs actually kind of rotated the sky to, they would make the scene and then they say, oh, those mountains shouldn't be in the north, they should be on the west, and so they'll rotate the scene in game. And of course, that means when we put the maps into the game, they're automatically wrong, so you have to adjust them. So okay, so they go for a bit. Someone said the autism awareness. Oh, was it? Oh, was it those from? Oh, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. We have to look into that. Actually, if they were in the autism thing, I know that's a separate deal. That I know Chris said that we are going to bring back some of the charity stuff, but I don't know if that's actually happened. I don't pay a lot of attention to the store side of things. I got my head down working on all sorts of infrastructure crap, and then obviously trying to get the things that I was supposed to be doing done too. So anyway, yeah, nonetheless, this should probably be brought up. The blue lamps are really cool looking, and I wouldn't mind seeing them come back at all. Okay, so yeah, so I did White Guard Foothills earlier, and then I was going to dive right into the decoing of another dungeon room, but I figured I would go and search in Jira to see if there were any outstanding map bugs where problems like that where the map was rotated in the wrong direction because it's not that hard to fix it once you know what's going on. So I found one, and it turned out that the bug is so old that it was prior to the new mapping system. So if you open up the scene now, it just says there's no map available anyway. So what I want to do is see if I can go in here real quick and do it, fix it up. So I'm going to I have to do some prep. So you're just going to see a gray screen while I'm talking a little bit here. And I just have to load the proper scene in. And I can't remember the actual name for this one. Our scene names internally from the beginning are, I'll say, more methodical and instead of readable. So I'm going to edit Novia R9 Hills 1 underscore 01, and that is going to translate into one of these other scene names, which I can't remember what it is, um, but we'll find out soon enough. Hmm. Okay, so this thing load. No. Okay, there we go. All right, so the screen should change from gray to that. There we go. All right, so this is the scene. This is what the scenes look like in the editor. So basically we have a compass up there, north, south, east, and west. Skybox is up there for us. And then, of course, the actual decorations in the scene and stuff. Now this one's going to be a little bit of a two-stage deal because it has water in it. So water does not show up in the process when we take the screenshots for the map. So then I definitely have to go in Photoshop, which I have to do anyway, and I have to put the water in. Oh wait, no, 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 that's not right. I apologize. I still have to edit some stuff, but the water, I have to put a plane in here for this. So this is gonna be interesting. At least it will be to me. Um, so let's see now. Okay, so what we're gonna do, very first thing is I have to, well, let's go up a little bit here. So you see how it goes to this? That's the fog. So I gotta turn the fog off. This, of course, will not work when taking the screenshot. Then we take a screenshot of all the fog. So get rid of the fog. And now we'll be able to see much clearer what's going on in the scene. Okay. It's interesting. The water level obviously was meant to be high enough to go all the way out this way, but that's outside of the view, I guess, right? Yeah. The players aren't really going to see that, but when the scene was made, it was meant to go all the way out that way. All right, so now the next thing I need to do is make a plane because, as I said, this blue stuff doesn't show up. If I take a screenshot of this, and I'll just have you trust me on this, that the water just doesn't display. Everything else will show up, but the water won't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make uh, a plane like that, and I will change it to be blue. Right, there we go. Eh, This is interesting too. If you, yeah, you've seen it. You see how it's doing it one letter at a time? That's Unity. It's a wonderful thing. And I'm not on a little machine. I'm on an i9 with 64 gigs of RAM. This thing should be fine. And whenever I open up one of these things, it just sits there and types like one character at a time. And it's not even that it's loading images or anything. It does this in certain menus in the main screen as well. So blue. There we are. So that's our map blue. Let's move this down. See, we're quite a height, so it's not really that big. And now I'm going to stretch it out like that, and then just lower it down until it fills in the water. And I'm looking over here to watch where, make sure I cover up the water that's in there. So I'm obviously, because it's showing down over here as well now, I'm probably a little higher than the water really is in the game. But this isn't going to be a problem for the map because, you know, with all these rocks and everything in this, the map's going to be top down and you're not going to really see that anyway, so it doesn't matter. Now, the thing is that there's what I'm assuming is going to be a waterfall here, because even waterfalls won't show up in the editor because they're VFX. So what I have to do here is I'm going to have to make some more water planes to cover up these areas, and I'll just make sure that they're almost touching, so that way for in the map it will look like there's a waterfall there. And this is really a first pass anyway. I mean, once I get these maps going, getting better at doing it, this is like there's not a set like this is how you do maps thing. We Travis started doing some of them after Undone Bobby had made the system, and then Travis trained me how to do it, and I've been improving the methodologies since. So I'm probably going to have to end up going back and doing another pass on the maps, and um, I don't know. I think for the game, it would make a lot more sense. Hey, Alexander, how's it going? It would make a lot more sense to get all the maps in the game to be the same type. I mean, I like the drawing maps, you know, the way they were originally, but obviously there's a huge amount of overhead in making those maps. So we had to switch over to this new system, which is of course more accurate and gives you better uh, input as to what's going on in the scene as you're walking around. But I think that leaving the old hand-drawn maps in the game would be long term would be a problem. So we should probably do another pass and get them all on the same type of mapping system. Okay, so I'm going to make a couple more planes. Now the thing to say is I'm editing the scene, and when I'm done, I have to make sure that I do not, under any circumstances, um, save these changes. Otherwise, they will go into the game, and that will cause a lot of problems. Okay, so we got another one. And where am I? Okay. This so it's pretty much on top of that thing. At least 3D editing is a wonderful thing. You never really know where the hell you are. All right, so there we are. Okay, so now I'm gonna stretch this a little bit. And of course, everything's got to be a square or a rectangle. This makes things a little bit difficult. Go a little wider and do this. All right, so there's my, interestingly enough, it's not quite doing what I expected to do, but now what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate this thing. So, oh, no, wrong rotation. Ah, let's do that. Put it back. That rotation. Okay. Okay. Now it's that's where the water stops, and as you can see, it is pretty much a straight line across here. Um, And I'm going to pull that in so it's not sticking out over here. Um, so now, because of the rest of the scenery, we do have our pond up there, and it looks fine. Um, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this over a little bit over this way more. So when I do the map, I'm going to have to do another little piece in here and tilt it and try to, well, you'll see. But I want to have it hanging over so that way it, from straight down view, it actually looks like one piece of water. Oh yeah, no, didn't forget the 3x3 deco issues. They're on the list, and I do have a list, so that's why I'm trying to plow through that. The 3x3 thing, and I have to tell you that I have to take a look at it, but I'm pretty sure that the fact that if I'm thinking about the one that we're talking about, um, it's the walls that have every once in a while has a brick sticking out. So you're going to either have all the deco floating away from the wall, or you're going to have all the deco in such a place where some of the deco would stick through the bricks would stick through the deco. So I was saying before you joined that players would be expected to deco in good taste. So, but I'll take a look at it and make sure that it's not something that's horribly egregious. You know, if I can, I will definitely make adjustments. Um, all right, so no, I made a quad. I don't want to make a quad. I want to make a plane. All right, there we go. Another plane. And actually, you know what? I don't even have to do this. I'm doing this silly way. I'm gonna get rid of this now, and I could do this. I just duplicated it, so now I could just move this around. So sometimes I forget to do things like that, and sometimes I'm doing it just to show people how things work. But in this case, I forgot. So, all right. And of course, now I'll have to stretch this for this one. And I'm going to have to rotate this one as well. Think about here. Get this covered. Yeah, there we go. Now I can stretch this. And back just a little bit like that. All right, that should work. Okay, two walls to the right and left of the main door are not deco friendly at all, missing colliders. Okay, if that's the case, yeah, definitely I'll go in there and I'll adjust that stuff. The Uh, it's funny too. You joined. I think you joined a little bit late, and this will be up for a video if you want to watch it later. Um, the first few minutes, I actually went through and showed off what I did yesterday, and I pretty much did decoration. All deco surfaces in a room that was never decoed before. So all the collision space had to be pulled back to the wall. So there may even be a deco surface on those walls, but it's so close that they're conflicting with each other. So the colliders, yeah, exactly. The small temple. That's done. That'll be patched into QA the next build, which I think is either happening right now or will happen in the morning. And then I'm hoping if I'm aware that it goes on QA, I will put out a testing directive on it so that way you guys could go and play with it, put it out and stuff and check it all out. So, yep, we're getting there. I'm actually. I mean, I've been here. My 2-year anniversary working with the team is, I guess, 2 months, about Yeah, 60 days from now. So a lot of this time, well, I had my family issues that kept me away from doing the game full time, but a lot of the time I was actually doing infrastructure stuff and like some server upgrades and learning the infrastructure of the system, poking around the code, doing a lot of things that weren't player facing. So uh, it helps me to have the foundation of what's going on and everything, and then my mind works better if I could do these things as long as I understand how everything works behind it. So, and I apologize. The chat is all the way over there, so I just have to look over there every once in a while to see what's going on. Cool. Thanks, Alexander. All right. So, where was I now? Oh, yes. I'm going to need to do another one of the planes. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to duplicate the one I was messing with, and I am going to right off the bat tilt it. Did I duplicate it? No, I think the duplicate didn't take. Yeah, duplicate didn't take. So duplicate, there we go. All right, now I have an angled one. We'll move that around, see if we can get, of course, this is huge. All right, I'm gonna rotate it. Okay. Oh, thanks for the follow, Carrie. Okay, so now this is the hardest part for this because, of course, this is not really meant to do this. I might have to do a bunch of small planes to do this accurately. Now here's the funny thing. What we're doing right now for really for Alexander, anybody else who might have wandered in, I'm doing a map for this scene, which I forget the name of, and uh, it it has water in it. So the water that's in the game doesn't show up on the screenshots that we take for the maps. So I have to do some staging, shall we say. Normally, the maps, the process that I have figured out to do how to do for the maps, I could do a map in about 15 minutes. So you notice it's not really down there, but we don't need it to because we're going to be looking straight down on this. So I want to see if I could. I'm hoping I can make this work because this will not be to my standards. I have different standards, I guess. I like it when things are as perfect as they can be. So my point here is that an average map I could do in about 15 minutes, especially if it doesn't have any water in it. But when there's water in the map, then this is what happens. So I'm going to have to do a whole bunch of little planes to do this properly. Now, let's see here. This one here, can I just move this? Do this now, stretch it. No, can't stretch out too much over there, but Okay, that'll work. And then this one, let's see if I could. Yeah, as you can see, this is going to be a bunch of little pieces to make this look proper without straight edges. But it can be done, and we're going to do it. So I just want to get one last one in here. And I'm going to angle this up a little bit more, like that. And sink it in. Yeah, this one may or may not work. Hmm. Pardon me while I'm quiet for a little bit while I sort through this. Let's see if we could just do. I saw that. I saw there's chats going on. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Maybe not. Okay. And then one more. This is an angle thing. So let's try making this more flat now. All I really want to do is hide this one straight line. I don't know if this is going to work because the rocks are not at the right height. The sand is too steep. Well, let's see what this looks like. Because the reality is that it's going to be a screenshot taken from an altitude, but of course you as the player will be able to zoom in. So even when you're standing here, you're going to see obviously a flat rendition of this, but so I don't really want it to look horrible. Um, that almost works. This pile of sand is a little bit too bulbous for its own good. Yeah, there's a bunch of different things I could do there, but so this is good enough. Because what I'll just do is I'll go into Photoshop and I'll edit it there, and I'll just paint in the blue. So it's definitely 90 some odd percent of the way there. All right, so what I like to do is I like to go over into the south and face north, so that way when I take the screenshot, this is what it should look like in Photoshop. And the next thing I need to do is I turn off stuff that we don't want to have showing up in the map. And that would include all the creatures that are being spawned. Because some of these maps are actually used for other scenes. So as you guys are probably all aware, right? The older um, uh, random roadside encounters and things like that, hills encounters and along those lines. They're using the same map, and then you just get populated with horses or kobolds or this or that or whatever. So um, obviously, you don't want the map to be showing something that's not really there. Besides, we don't really want you to know what's in the map when you go in the map anyway. Map's there to help guide you if you need it, but not to reveal what's in the scene. Um, so let's see here. I gotta turn off a bunch more stuff. Those are the onks. Those get turned off. And looking, making sure, I think those are all good. I see something. Something in here is pink. Oh, okay. I know what that is then. Never mind. That's actually that pink arrow is there on purpose to um, make the dungeons darker when you go into a cave or a dungeon inside of a scene like this without having a loading screen. If we don't do something special, then you'll get the sunlight inside of the dungeon. And that would not work very well. All right, so I believe that I have everything that I need. Now this could be a two-stage thing. I'm going to take two screenshots, and this will be the telling spot. This will exactly reveal why and how uh, we make the maps. So what am I looking for? Oh yeah, all right, camera rig. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to start the game now. So I actually have to go into the game. And no, I'm not taking a screenshot the same way you guys would. Not hitting F11. There's a screenshot tool that we have in the game, in the editor, to do it. But the game has to be running, and it uses the actual sunlight. So if I tell it to be, midnight, then the map will actually come out like almost black. So I have to have the camera with the sun and everything set up right. And of course the weather. These things would get in the way of the screenshot. You'd see the clouds as well. So now I'm just waiting for the game to start. And those of you who were here in the beginning, then you know what that's going to be. It's going to be a few minutes. So here we go. All right. So now I'm also taking a mental note of where I arrived at the west entrance, assuming that there's multiple entrances in here and I'm facing east. So this is probably going to be a flip map, but we shall see. All right, so we're going to turn the weather to clear and set the game time to noon. So that way the shadows are minimal. And now we have perfect setup for the screenshot. Screenshot's on the screen over here, so I'm going to hit the thing to do that. You should see a flash go by. There it goes. And now that's one screenshot. In fact, I'll show you that too. So, yep, you can see that. Good. All right. So here's the screenshot. I should have brought that over onto the screen. All right. So there, and this is another thing that we have as a problem, which actually, I guess you guys actually have seen this in, was it the fall, the the shaft. There's an invisible bridge that shows up, kind of like I guess a milky white or something, when you're in editing mode for the dungeon. And similar problems here. Some of these deco, or they're not, deco prefabs, but some of the graphics that we have in here show up like this in the editor. So now, of course, I have to make this into a square map, and as you know, we like to surround the map with mountains and such. So that way, it looks convincing when you're in the game. So what I now have to do is I have to make a second screenshot. Just minimize that. And the second screenshot is going to be without the mountains. So I could go in here and we have mountains. I turn off the mountains and I just take the screenshot again. And that doesn't look like it worked, but let's see if it actually worked or not. Nope, it did not work. Why did it not work? Give me a second. Mountains. Mountains are turned off. That's just wonderful. Let me try rocks. I hope that's not what it is. But actually, that'd be fine. Um, this is for just a specific purpose. Let's see. Nope, those are still there. Why are those damn mountains still there? Hmm, this is not working the way I want it to. Let me go back. While we're in the game, we could actually go back and look at this. So, so not only do I have the ability now to go around and look at the in the scene, the editor, this is great for debugging. You could see that this big white box is the camera angle. So that's me standing there, and I'm looking in that direction, and so we get to now have things like the windmills moving and the VFX in the sky of the falling stars and stuff like that while in the editor, so I could debug anything that's going wrong. Um, Now I got to figure out. Oh, look at this! Actually, this is a good thing. So it turns out that there's actually supposed to be water coming down on all three of these. Oh, and this is all water up here too. How about that? I did not know this. So in actuality, I should be probably putting more water up there. I might just go ahead and do that in Photoshop. But I need to find out why these mountains are not turning off. Background mountains. Oh, there's a different thing called background mountains. That's why. All right, well, I'm going to turn them all off at once. There. This is what I was trying to do. Now, I don't need the water plane to be there, that big one that I made. So I'll turn that off too. All right, good. Now we'll go back to the game and I'm going to take the screenshot again, hopefully for the last time. Media map, there. This is what I was trying to get to. Okay, good. Now we'll bring up Photoshop and I will go ahead and bring in the original screenshot and then the second screenshot. Now, get some interesting effects here because of the thing running. So here's what we're going to do. I just go in here and I'm going to zoom in a little bit so I get this right the first time. All right. And we're going to cut this out. No, 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 I want to be here. You guys are getting me all nervous. All right. There we go. Yeah, sure. Apply that transform. Just want to make sure that it's accurate. Okay, good. It is. Even 1 pixel off, and the map will not be easily not coordinated, calibrated. Let's transform again. No, we'll do this and zoom in. I don't trust myself. There we go. Okay. Let's do full screen and edit. Copy over here, edit and paste. Now, the reason why I did this is because I only want the square. I'm not going to do this whole thing for the map. Again, there's a calibration aspect to this that will become obvious in a minute. So what I want to do is um, I want to get the mountains that are in there. So that way, as you get closer to the edges of the map, it looks more natural. It looks like matching what you're seeing in the screen. Otherwise, it would just be this ugly square thing with grass that goes off and this drops off to nothing. So this way, where there are mountains, the mountains will be merged in, and then it'll drop off the black. But if you go all the way to the edge, but most of the scenes are built so this is where you exit, and in theory, if even if you have it zoomed all the way in, your camera, the actual mini map or map square that's on your screen, shouldn't see that much of the black void off to the edge. So now I just have to do the same thing I just did a second ago. There might be a better way to do this. I don't know, but I'm happy with this. It comes out accurate, and that's all that matters to me. I like things to be right. As you can see, this doesn't take too long to do anyway. Okay, we'll do that just for that, and then what we will do is crop, image crop, and then I could turn off this extra layer that I made. And in this case, well, joke's on me because we didn't get that much of extra mountains, but the mountains are here now. So if I turn on the layer, you see the mountains are gone, and I turn it on, and extra, yeah, well, the extra rocks I turned off as well, come back, but the any rocks, mountains and rocks that are around the edges are all now present. So what I'll do in here as well is I will suck up the, oh, I have to get out of this mess. Do, do, do. Where was I? Yep. Suck up the color for the blue, and then I will do some manual editing. See, sadly, the VFX weren't all. This is an example of like I wouldn't want this here. This shouldn't be here. The pink stuff. Uh, but I mean, it's not horrible. I could paint over this, so I'll just do it in here. What am I getting? No. Some on. All right. And duplicate that layer. Turn that off too. There we go. So now let's get rid of any anomalies or problems that I have in here. Just get rid of this stuff. Make the map a little prettier. I'll zoom in and I'll get closer to the edges. So, okay, so sorry, I'm not seeing the chat as much. I'm gonna move this over so I could, Unity gets in my way because it's like one of those always on top applications. Get that out of the way. I don't need to have the editor in front of me while I'm doing this so I can watch what you guys are saying. All right, so let me see. So Alexander's saying some more stuff here about dungeons. It would be insanely complex to add pop-up in recall scroll to select where to end up. I see. Yeah. Yeah, we saw that in Ask a Dev, I think is where it was, right? And uh, or I saw that. I don't know if because I watch Discord, I watch the forums, things like that. I don't talk a lot, but I'm watching a lot, and so I saw this. I just don't remember where I saw it. And it's one of those things where I've been thinking about it, and it's feasible. It might be a little bit more in the way of coding to get it done. The lot and the basement wouldn't be very difficult. The dungeon might be because it's actually on a different permission set and stuff. So, even there's been outstanding requests to even allow the dungeons to have co-owners to be able to deco it and stuff like that. So part of that comes into play as well. So, why am I seeing my name down there? Good morning, Skeggy. How you doing? Switch deco mode from. Yeah, switching deco mode within the dungeon could also be an issue because it would kick you out of the dungeon. That one might be more of a problem than actually doing a recall scroll to, go and choose between the three different things. Um, but definitely something we could talk about and see where's going, what Chris thinks about that, how hard it would be to make it work. The reflections layer. Um, okay. Um, Not really thinking that I have any reflections on there turned on, but all right. Well, let's think about that in the future. I have to. In this case, I'll probably end up having to go back and do stuff to this anyway. Um, so let me um, let me get back to what I was doing, and I'm trying to move around the wrong way. I'm trying to move it like a map, guys. This is not good. This is what happens. All right, so yeah, I might have to turn off I might have to do this again and turn off the VFX, but we'll soldier on for a little bit. Zoom in a little bit too much. Keep trying to right click to move the map. Okie dokie. So, as I said, top-down view, I'm not so concerned about showing. This is probably going to end up going blue all the way back, but yeah, so all this is supposed to be blue. I'm pretty sure. Let's go into the editor again. Yeah, we'll slew. Something tells me that this is a problem. It's actually supposed to be red. Uh-oh. Well, that explains the reddish colored mist. But for whatever reason, this is strange that, well, I guess it's because the players can't see up that high, that the water wasn't actually colored anything. But so, all right, so it's Upper Fortis is actually the name of the scene. Um, I guess that's on the Blood River, huh? All right, well, that solves that. I definitely have to take another screenshot, and I have to change the color of the planes to red. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this aside and start working on the decoration surfaces for the shaft for the fall. Um, you get the idea of what I have to do here. Under normal circumstances, if I didn't screw up, then we would be pretty much done. And all I have to do is insert it into the game and then test it, make sure that the orientation is right and everything like that. Um, Tomorrow, I plan on streaming again, and I'll be streaming some of my finalization work on the Lottie scene, the Lord of the Isle fishing scene. And if I fit it in, I'll go back and I'll like redo this map and do some more maps. I'm hoping to get like 3 or 4 maps a week done at least. And as I said, if it's not something like this, then I could do basic maps, standard basic maps like Deep Ravenswood. I could do that in 15 minutes. A lot of the maps, if I pick out the right ones, then I'll be able to, bang out like 15, 20 maps in an evening, and move from there. Uh, the amount of maps that are left to do are dwindling. It's just that they're getting more complicated, like with the water and stuff like that. So, okay. So with that said, sorry about the delays there. And what we'll do is I'll close this. I'm not going to save it or anything. And get back into the editor. We'll get out of the game. And I have to find, the JIRA for this. Okay. It's a rise shaft. No, I'm sorry, not the fall. Um, the rise shaft with spawns, dungeon room, statue texture. That's one thing. Then the rise shaft, dungeon room, top bridge, and texture missing. What don't we have the fall shaft that needs deco? I could have sworn that was in there. Sponsors room statue texture. Let's see what this one is. So yeah, I'll show you what I'm looking at. So okay, so there's this white box here. Um, that that's actually a mystery as to why that's there. I think that was put in there so that way when the players jump down, that there was someplace they could actually land. This is actually a collision box, and I don't think it needs to be there. So this is actually an easy fix. I just have to delete the box and get rid of this. So maybe get into Unity, find what it is, because inside our database it is not called the same thing all the time. Okay. Maybe it's called the pit. Player dungeon, the rise, the pit. Oh yeah, this is the room I was thinking of. So, all right, yeah, there's the box. As I said, I think this was a helper. And I think the intention was so that way you'd be standing on the arm, and the collision box may have gotten shifted. Uh, but of course, if it's showing up white, this is not good either. Let's see. Yeah, there's the statue. The statue does have a mesh collider attached to it. The mesh collider, as I had mentioned earlier, um, there are two different types of colliders. There's the uh, colliders that are generally on the walls, which I'm hoping this one does have those types of colliders. This one's got a mesh collider on the wall, so that's not a good thing either. Um, but anything where we came in here and you saw that there were green lines, those are generally collider lines. And if they're in the editor as quads, then I could actually adjust them. I could delete them, move them out of the way, do whatever I want with them. If they're mesh colliders, they're actually kind of embedded into this object. And the only way to change those are actually to go and take it all apart and re-edit the mesh and then put it back together again. Um, so the interesting thing, of course, is that it's not displaying what the mesh collider is. What it's not. I'm not seeing the meshes. Um, why am I not seeing? See, like I highlight this one and I'm seeing the meshes. That's the collider for this pillar. And let's see if it's a mesh collider as well. So this whole room might be using mesh colliders, apart from that one thing on the arm. And the reason why that's probably there is because when the mesh collider was done for this, the arm probably doesn't have a collider, or the collider's not in the right spot. So the big question is, does that need to stay? And if it does, okay, it's actually named. Hey, how about that? It says additional statue collision for stuck spot. All right. Now I know why it's there at least. So basically, I guess maybe somebody was getting stuck into this niche or something, and this is preventing anybody from getting into this area. Um, Maybe it doesn't need to be so big, but I don't, this is probably ancient, some kind of a problem. I'll bet you they end up getting stuck between the sword and the arm or something. But let me see if I could figure out why it's turning white. Yeah, the mesh renderer is disabled on it. But it does have cast shadows on. We'll turn that off. I think this should be none. No, actually. Okay. Box collider. All right, there's a. Oh. Hmm. Yeah, this is definitely an interesting situation. The question is it needed there at all, in reality? But I'm assuming it is. Need to find out why it's showing up white then. It says it has no material, so it shouldn't show up at all for that. But I'm seeing another thing in here. It's marked as a cube that's a mesh filter. That might be what's causing it. Um, okay. So there are two versions of this room. Um, the one that I'm in right now is the one that doesn't have deco but should be decoable, and the other is the one with spawns. Now, of course, when there's spawns, we won't deco dungeon rooms that have spawns, and of course, the reason, which I hope would be obvious, is that if you put decorations down where it's supposed to spawn, it will not spawn and cause all sorts of problems there. Or you would be able to exploit it and box, let's say, a lich or something into a corner because you know where it's going to spawn. Therefore, you could, put things around it, make it stay still. Yeah, so decorating a room with spawns, although it would be cool if it was done responsibly, uh, can't be done safely, so we're not doing those. I was um, I was one of the people that was like, well, why not? I don't understand. But then I had to think about it, and yeah, it makes sense. Just can't be done. It's too dangerous. But these rooms, this room here, this one should be set for deco. Now, I'm a little concerned that I can't see where the collision is on these walls. These are mesh collisions, and even with that, I should be able to see them. Nothing, everything. Don't know why I'm. Stop that. I'm gonna turn on a bunch of stuff here. That should, right. Okay, so you see, I'm pretty much on top of that wall, and it looks like it's collision. Well, this isn't really the collision box, but it looks like there's a little bit of space here. I could try to do an experiment and put a deco surface in here and see what happens. I may have to do a little bit more work on this to prep for this room. I was kind of hoping to do this. I thought this was going to be a cool one to just go in here. Because, of course, I could do four huge deco surfaces and get the bulk of the room in, but then I would go in here and do all the deco surfaces on the various walkways and other protrusions and stuff. Um, all right, so sadly, this is not one that's going to really work for tonight. I'm going to have to do some more research. It makes me sad. Uh, all right. Well, you know what? Actually, let me check this out and just see if it's hiding crap from me because it's not checked out. No, you know what? That's not going to work now either. It's after 4 a.m. This is the moment when we internally would say coffee break because um, our uh, con uh, was it Perforce, which is the asset management system, for teamwork and everything, checking things out. It's actually doing a daily maintenance routine, and it does this right in the middle of my shift. So every day when I get to 4 a.m., I need to stop working. It's not fun, but usually it's done by 4:15, so I'm gonna let that go, and we'll have to see her talk a little bit here. Oh, maybe it got it through. Let's see if it. You don't want autosave turned on. That's a pain in the ass. Yeah, right now Unity is locked up because Perforce. I should have started my stream earlier. So what do you guys think if I stream in the middle of the night like this? You show up every once in a while? I have to I have to get back into a pattern of doing this. And as I said, tomorrow night, which is really tonight, I plan on streaming again. The earliest I'll stream Monday through Thursday will be like 11 p.m. Even then, it'd probably really be more like 11:15. But then I could stream all night because that's all I'm doing is sitting here and doing this type of stuff. Jumping from thing to thing to thing. So tonight um, I plan on streaming the Lottie work that I said I was going to do, and I have control back for thing. So let's see here. Walls. Okay. Got to figure out what people did here to make stuff. Thanks for the follow, Alexander. Yeah, my schedule is definitely random and unusual, so I guess doing the follow would be a good thing, get notified, but of course I still do the tweets and stuff. Um, and I guess that's probably worth mentioning that if you want, you could follow me on Twitter, and it's Ravalox on Twitter. Of course, on here it's Ravalox Darkshire, and on YouTube it's also Ravalox Darkshire. So these when I do the streams like this, I will archive them up to YouTube most of the time. Sometimes there's things that that I'm doing on the stream that are best left to be exclusive content for people who actually get to watch what I'm doing at the time, and then not archive it. And other times I'll definitely do the archival. Okay, I'm trying to figure out where. I love it. It says wall west, north, east, south, and west, but don't really know which directions I'm facing. Let me see exits. See, now that's what I'm expecting. Expecting to get the highlights on everything. But these have those colliders that I can mess with, the box colliders. That's why it's acting that way. All right, so got that floor collision, that stuck collision thing. That's the ground. I don't know. It may not, yeah, excuse me. Somebody's trying to call me. Um, Looking in here and see mesh render, mesh quad, D, mesh collider. Interesting. You know, I could probably do. I'm going to try something real quick. Um, Lock. There you go. You know what? Stone. Yeah, that's not going to work. Never mind. All right. Well, why not? We'll just try to throw a Deco surface in here real quick and see if it works. If it doesn't work, that's going to be because it's in conflict with the actual collision, and then I'll have to actually go and sort out the collision for this. I might have to make duplicates and make custom things, basically rebuild the room for the decorations. But we can do this. I need to. create a quad. Wait, no quad. Okay. All right, I'm just going over here and I'm going to grab some stuff. I'm going to set this up for actual real editing. This is a test scene that I have. It's just basically a Green Acres type of scenario. And then I do put things in here and turn them on and turn them off. We're down below. Well, you can't see it anymore. I turned everything off, but so I could put prefabs in here and mess with them. And so I started investigating this one. I actually shoved it in here too. Um, there's another project I'm working on too. Let me see, where is, there it is. Okay, actually, I could just delete that out of there. I don't need it. Um, I'm doing something with this thing for hometown, and hopefully, if it all works out with what I want to do, then maybe this will go in for pot deco or player lot deco or something as well. But that's another temporary thing. Turn that off, and all right, so grab this and shove it in here. Just move it out of the way. And then I need to, yeah, the rise pit. Okay. Sorry, it's a little bit weird. Yeah. 4 a.m. and all is well, right? Um, Counter room, this. Ah, yeah, there we go. Deco surface. We just need one of these. There we go. Hey, look. Now we got like lines. And sadly, we still don't have lines where I wanted the lines. So I guess I could explain a couple of things. It's all encased in one big giant outline box, and that is what prevents you from putting dungeon pieces too close together. So that's the placement collision, and that'll be lined up with all the exits, um, and then of course whatever the lowest point where the graphics are down on the bottom to make sure that nothing actually conflicts with another room. Then, of course, as I said, all these green lines are collision that are in here. And those are all mesh collision, which is interesting, that we don't have any collision showing for the actual walls and floors and stuff. So we're going to put a deco surface on here and see what happens. And I just need to create the organizational stuff. Didn't need to do that. All right. Surface. Okay. Well, it's kind of interesting. This is offset from 0. But, all right. Hey, whatever. This is an experiment. We'll do whatever we want right now. I'm not going to save this and even if it works, I'm not going to save it and put it into production. We're just going to mess about a little bit. So you can see here as I lift it up, you can see when it comes through the floor. And this, even though it looks like it's just a flat square, it actually is. There's 2 lines there. It's a very, very thin wafer of a plane. So if I put this in a situation where it's just on top with both of its lines, you know what I need to do is I need to do a focus. Uh, okay, now it won't cut out on me. Um, if I put this in here where it's just above the surface like that, I should be able to get the deco to work. It goes below. See, I get 1, 2. So I'll put it up a little bit higher than that, and that shouldn't be perceivable. So what we're going to do now really is try to get this as close to the center of the room. I'm just going to eye this up a little bit. I'm making some assumptions that that's probably the center of the room. And that should be 0, but it's not. 0 is outside the wall for some reason. So here's what we're going to do. We're just going to stretch this. As you can see, it stretches both sides at the same time. That's why I want to have it in the center. So that way I'm not wasting my time moving it around. As you can see, I did not hit the center. This is probably good enough for a test. You know, but under normal circumstances, this is pretty much how I would do it anyway. These darn things are in my way. That's pretty much close enough. So there you go. That's the whole floor. And in theory, if the floor's collision is not higher than where my deco surface is, this should work. So I'm going to save this, and what that's doing is saving it locally on my machine. And I still have a chance to back out of anything I do if I do something stupid before it goes up to the database. But because I saved it, I can play the scene or play the game, I should say, and enter into a scene. So we're going to go ahead and load the. We're going to go ahead and open the game up and get it running. And then I'll have to add that room to my dungeon, which of course means I need to get the exact name of it so that way I could add it in. And luckily, it takes a while for the games to come up, so I could go and do this without having to stall. I might have spoke too soon. Okay. Okay. All right. So now we're getting into the game, and I have um, the rise shaft. That's what this is called, right, guys? There it is. Without spawns. Okay. So now I have that, and we get into the game, and as I said, we'll just wait for the loading screen of death. If if the floor works, then the wall may work as well. In most cases, I can pause the game in the editor and then go make changes, or even make changes hot. Like if I'm doing the map, I could actually bring up the game and it'll say there's no map available, and I could do the stuff and put the map into the system, and then just basically move, and then the map will pop up. In this case, with the player dungeon, because it really is coordinating stuff with, I guess, my permissions, and it's like kind of like, a scene by itself. If I make a change, it actually, when I go back to the game, it tells me if the authorization's ended, and I have to restart the game anyway. So it kind of sucks. So a lot of this stuff is waiting. We're still at 50% for load, by the way. Getting there, 65%. So as I was saying before, my plans are to put this 8 terabyte drive in here, um, and I'm still on a Gen 3. My laptop is a Gen 3 for NVMe, so it's still only locked to 3.5 gigabytes a second transfer rate, but I should be able to get up to 7 gigabytes a second once I get my new machine. I'm building a new gaming rig, which will obviously double as my development box. Um, Now let me see. That's dead end room. So let's. I don't want to remove that room yet. Let's run down the track here for to the next intersection. Assuming I don't get run over by my own minecart. All right, there we go. Of course, it's dark in here too. Okay, so now I'm going to add the item. Oh, I probably have a ton of things in here. Great. Go backwards. I don't know what it's. Yeah, Harry, look, there it is. Okay. I have not put one of these down myself. Now, of course, keeping in mind I didn't turn off the white box. I'm going to talk to Chris about that one and see what the deal is, why that's happening. The question also is, has anybody noticed, does this happen? Like right now we're in Deco mode, but if I turn on adventure mode, does that white box still show up? So that may just be actually an intended thing if it's only in Deco mode. But now let's see if I could find something that actually is supposed to go on the floor. No, theory that, but do I have? I should have other stuff in here. Come on, open. Ah, yeah, these always work. There we go. Look, Deco surface, guys. I can put stuff down. So now that a basic test has worked, I'll go ahead and we'll put up all four walls and see if we actually get Deco surface on those, which sadly means that this is going to end up going away. But I'll pause the game and okay. So actually, what I'm going to need to do with this is I will have to stop the game. I think. Yeah, it unloaded my. Hmm. Unity is such a single, like, you know, thread thing. I do something and then it closes out what I was doing before. I like having all these monitors up and doing all sorts of stuff at once, and it just screws me up. Now I got to remember what the name of the stupid thing is. The pit. That's what it was. Rise pit. And there it is. Okay, good. Okay, good, 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 good. All right. All right, now we have our collision there. And because we are all lazy, I am going to. All right, so the floor is still there. Click it, see the big square is still there. I duplicated it, and now I have this here. And all I'm going to do is throw it on its side. So now it's a wall. And I do have to change its decoration type from floor to wall. Otherwise, you'd have things sticking out of the wall that were floor things when you try to deco it, um, which I'm sure some of you would like to do, but no. All right, so get this over here. All right, so there's a way to guide this since there's Samiago, welcome. Thank you for follow. Um, since there's these columns, I could gauge how far away I am from the wall a lot easier than, you know, otherwise. It's tends to be a real pain in the ass in 3D. But from at that point, I think that's safe to try and see what's going on. Um, so I'll stretch this out and try to cover the whole wall. Once I do that, then I could just flip it over to the other three walls because they'll be about the same size. No, 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 no. Wrong, wrong, wrong. There we go. This is a tall room. Yeah, very, very much tall. Where is that? Okay. Oh, I should be able to do this. Yay, look at that. That's better. All right. Now if I move this, can I? Ah, okay. But I need to move it. So Friday during the day, I'm meeting with List and Sanyo and maybe even Damon to go over stuff with the Lord of the Isle scene and keep moving that forward. So I'm hoping to meet with them every Friday for the rest of the month, so that way I could just get that done. It's been dragging out for so long. Of course, it's all my fault that it's taken so long to do. I've been adding things to it. So, I mean, in the long run, it'll be good for the Lord of the Isle folks. They'll like that. And it will actually benefit all the players down the road because it's um, it's going to provide for some new tech that we're going to use for things that all the players will be able to access. So I'm letting this one sink below the floor. It doesn't really matter if it does. I like to be a little bit more exact with my stuff, but in this case, it's not a problem. And go back to this and stretch it out. Okay. Then we move this over. There. That's pretty much what that's supposed to be like. Okay. So now that's a deco wall, and in theory, it's gonna work. But we're gonna go ahead and put one of these on every one of the four main walls. So, you know, that way we have our thing. So duplicate this and then just pull all the way over here. And remember, these are really just thin, wafer thin cubes. Um, so it's like, really like a three-dimensional rectangle. It's just very thin. So all of its surfaces are deco surfaces. So I don't have to flip it over or anything like that. And I'm not being very exact with my distance from the wall right now. Because I actually intentionally want to see if the distance that I would want it to be, which is the one that I've done on this wall, if that doesn't work, I'm gonna, like these two walls, I'm probably gonna have them a little bit farther in to make sure we get deco, and then we'll, bump them back towards the brick a little bit. Bit of a process, but this is what it's like. All right, so now I duplicated it, and we have this one here, and I'm going to rotate this so we can get our sidewalls. I get myself in a position where I can see what the hell's going on. All right, now what I'm watching this little step down here, and seeing when it breaks through, so I can tell where my position is. So right now I'm right up against that thing, and I'm staying inside of it now, so I can see when I actually break through the wall. All right, so as I said, normally I'd leave it like there. I'm coming in a little bit more like this, just in case those first two walls don't stick, because we're in conflict with the collision. This way, then I could test and say, okay, that one works. And then I could actually look at the numbers, because it's not all just GUI dragging stuff around. Um, there are actually numbers on the screen here that I can tell from my XYZ coordinates and my depth. So if I find one that works, then I could just go and change the number on all the other collisions. Um, yeah, collision thingies. So apparently that's sunk in a little bit, so I can come back this way. There we go. Good. Okay, perfect. Nice job. All right, and one more duplication, and then go back this way. And I'm going to do this, as I said, the same thing. I'm going to use this. Yeah, that's actually good right there. That's very far away from the wall. If you hung deco on here, you'd be yelling at me. So, all right, now, just to make sure that we've actually done good stuff, there's all the deco surfaces. So we can now see that we've made something of a cube. We just don't have the ceiling. And yep, these are set to wall. That one's set to floor. And now what I'll do is I'll duplicate the floor one. Might as well do the ceiling if we're here. And just drag it up. And this one's going to be a little bit more of a pain in the neck. All right. Again, with the ceiling, I'm going to assume that I don't have to go um, down too far. But again, even if we hang stuff from the ceiling, like I did in the small temple, the little bits of deco surface I gave you guys in there technically are floating. It's like that far away from the roof. But unless you're really looking to go find that on an average or normal play situation, you would not see that. So, okay, so we now have that, and I hit my save button. Oh, such hard work. All right, now, as I said, I'm unpausing the game, and it immediately says, "Oh no, we're not happy." It kicks me out of my scene. So what it's going to do is it's going to kick me back to the um, login server, login screen. But at least I don't have to wait for this part to happen. That's why I pause it instead of shutting it all down. Is well, you guys have seen it now. It takes forever to test things in the editor. Um, so sometimes some people may not test everything because it takes so much time, which of course it would be best if everybody tests everything before it goes onto the server. I try my best to do that. I don't like people thinking ill of me, so I always test. So I'm a little slower than most, but at least I hope that my stuff is like 99% accurate, you know. If you find bugs on QA, that's fine. You know, I just don't want it to make it to live. Okay, maybe I should. No, cart's not around at all, so we'll we'll run for it. Oh, look at that. Ah, a side effect. So this means that I have to do some special stuff. I will have to make multiple uh, decoration surfaces. Now I could get through here because you know GM and all, but obviously this would not have been a good thing if I sent this to production. So since there's normally no collision here, I can tell you for sure if I find something in my inventory that's for a wall that I'll be able to put it here. And I think oh, of course, painting of some guy with a sword. I don't know. But so there you go. And that's why we can't run through here because Deco the Deco surface collision is also collision. Now the question is, and yes, we have successful Deco on a wall. Now, let me get this into a place where we'll be able to actually see how far it's floating above the wall. Do it down on the bottom. Um, but yeah, let's just jump to the bottom. We'll do it down here. Yeah, see how far away it is. I think these are the side walls. Hopefully it is. Yeah, that's still a little farther away than I'd like, but it's not horrible. That one is horrible. Yeah, this is the first wall. This one should be the closest. So we'll see if it actually. Yeah, see that's not bad. Because even if you do the flat camera surface, it's kind of believable, that for a painting or something at least. It's not that bad, I mean, you're not supposed to be doing this anyway, so play the game. Just look at stuff. But so that's not horrible. I'll probably go in there and I'll start doing. We're talking like millimeters. Just keep getting closer and closer to the wall until I lose deco surface, so I can find out what the real numbers are. And then, so when I actually go to submit this, all the walls will be as close as possible. Um, base uh, based on based on the fact that I could get it this close, means I probably shouldn't have to mess with the actual mesh collision that's already attached to these walls, and we should be good to go. So that means that the stuff I was worried about is not going to be a problem here. Hey Sean, can you get placeable collision surfaces? Um, so yeah, I think that I'm pretty sure that Elgarian is working on some invisible walls. Now, whether or not you'll be able to deco those invisible walls, at least initially, I'll say initially, I'm pretty sure you will not be able to. But um, we could throw up the justifications, the arguments for it. Is I like to be able to do some weird stuff like that as well. But I you know the team basically it's a democracy type of thing. We all go in there and we discuss it all, and there's a lot of well, sometimes yelling and screaming, but a lot of discussion about what we should and shouldn't do when these types of ideas are thrown around. So basically, if it gets past the somebody earlier said called them the sensors. If we get it past the sensors, then yeah, we'll be good. I'm all for it, but I don't know if everybody on the team would be so excited. So we do have the first phase of it, getting placeable collision, is definitely coming in. So yeah, yeah, it is technically possible. Absolutely. So yeah, and I don't know, Sean, if you were you here a few minutes ago when I demonstrated that. So yeah, it's the same thing, really. So all right, with all that said, basically, oh well, we should do a ceiling thing, even though I don't know, I don't know what you'd be able to actually do with the ceiling up here. So this is interesting. Are those floating too? No, they're not floating. All right, let's see. Nope. The one I put on the ceiling is, let me see. I may not have, I may have forgotten to change it to, yeah, I did. I forgot to change it to a ceiling. Yeah, and it's not gonna let me do it hot. Oh, that sucks. Bummer. All right, well, that's gonna be the problem with that. Man, it's foggy as all hell in here. All right, let me pause this thing. Save my change. Oh, geez. So I moved it up here and I forgot to actually change it to a ceiling. So I actually thought it was a floor. And if I thought about this a split second sooner, I could have just stayed in the game there and put something that's meant to go on the floor and have it hang upside down off the ceiling. But so, ooh, look at that. It didn't kick me out. I guess it didn't wasn't big enough of a change. Oh, and it still won't let me that's interesting. Well, let me try to do that. No, I don't think it's. Oh no, it did. Yeah. So here's the problem with this. The candle placed, but it's um, it's still aiming up. So that's a physics issue. Well, not really an issue. It's not meant to do this. Uh, yeah, I'm not able to get the VFX to work. It's just not happy with me. Now I gotta find where I put it again. Come on. Oh, oh, there it is. And it's on now. So now they're actually this might be a good time to bring this up. Um, oh, I see. Yeah, okay. So I just saw your comment about the. So that's what gave you the idea for the painting. All right, cool. Um, so there is. Everybody knows about taking your deco and rotating it using Q and E, right? So you could rotate it like left and right, and And then you can hit the R to change the rotate axis, and then rotate as well around. So like a book, you could take it from standing to laying down, right? Standing, you could do it this way. Laying down, it would go this way. Um, there is another option in the game that a lot of people don't know what it really is. And this has actually been on my list of things to do for a long time. There is a Deco flip button, which is not assigned currently, I think. I think we got the default keybind taken away from it. There actually is a bug with it, and I'm probably going to have to work with Devil Cult to get this fixed. I started working on it uh, with Joaquin with Wizard Smoke, but basically what it is like if you have a sword, okay, and that goes on the wall, like this, then the next sword that you put on, if you want to do crisscrossing swords, you can't because the swords will actually not, you know, they won't do this, right? The other one would be like this, if with my thumb, right? So you just extrapolate from there because obviously I'm not really probably making a great example. But Deco flip will allow a thing like a sword, like let's say you have a sword that has a curve in it, right? So it'll allow that sword to go up, and then you hit the Deco flip on the other one, and it'll flip it so that way they'll be symmetrical when they're actually placed on the same surface, parallel to each other, that type of thing. That actually would also work on like this candle. If I had Deco flip assigned to the candle, I would actually be able to hit that key and it would flip it to be upside down, hanging off of the ceiling. Now, don't get any ideas, but I'm just saying that's I found this interesting because, of course, I in my head thought, oh yeah, if I put it on the ceiling that's meant to be a floor, it'll it'll attach it upside down. But no, it still pays attention to the physics of the situation, and it attaches the candle to the top of the surface. But the uh, it just made me think about the deco flip, so I wanted to explain all that um, as well. Stub my toe, hurts. Um, okay, so anyway, with all that said, my my deco surface is still a floor, even though it did take the save and it didn't kick me out of the game, which kind of sucks. So, um, hmm, I gotta figure. I guess I'm gonna have to shut down the client and do it again because if it doesn't kick me out, it's not gonna reload the prefab. Let me let me try to log out and see what happens. See if it lets me do this. Okay, good. I'm actually relieved. I did get to do what I wanted to do with you guys, which is mainly getting this thing decoed. Um, it's not for naught, as it were. All this work is being saved locally on my machine, so I'll go back offline and I'll do all the micro tweaking to get the deco surface as close as possible to the to the textures and stuff like that. But this way, the bulk of the work is done, and you see how long it's taken to do it. Uh, I want to show something. Slew. Yeah, actually, let's slew 50. More control. And then see if we could put chandelier up here. No, is it still saying it's floor? It's still saying it's floor. Man. All right. This means I'm going to have to kill the client. It just doesn't want to take that change. So let me cast light here. Uh, well, oh, I'm slowing. Uh, it's like first world problems, GM problems. All right, so well, I guess I already had cast light. All right, so I assume that you would all agree that the next step I'm going to have to do is put Deco surface on all of these uh, walkways throughout the whole thing, except for the invisible walkway, which is visible for some stupid reason. Probably the same problem as that box below. So let me just go back up here a little bit. I wish it was like a light switch. Um, I mean, I'm actually serious about this. I might even ask that it's like when you guys are in deco mode in your dungeons, it's like just have it give like auditorium lighting. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't think it's possible. But anyway, I think most people know about this. Is there's an invisible walkway up here at this level, and it also is showing up as white. So I just got to find out why that's happening, and I'm sure I could get that sorted out. Um, and just to say, I will not be putting a deco surface on the invisible walkway. Sorry. So, but we will definitely get deco surfaces on all of the little platforms, the oh, what do you want to call these things? Uh, Balconies or whatever. If any of them actually do stick out. I thought this one did, but I guess it doesn't. Get a little dark because I'm slewing, but yeah. And And then also in the entranceways, I will put deco surfaces in there as well, just the same way I did in the small temple. So that way, you know, you could put some lights in the entranceways if you want, torches or whatever, that type of thing. I think those are important to be able to do. Um, we're not going to force you to have them, but you should have the options, I think. So, yeah, so I mean that's about it. So it's all repetition from here. I'll have to go through and I'll make well, I shouldn't say this. I should say that obviously I can make one long rectangle for each one of these walkways going across, and then of course make a square one for that. Um, but if I want, which I do, I will probably be putting decoration surfaces on the sides of these as well, wherever they're flat. So like, this deco surface won't be here, but the flat area will be. Now this is also kind of offset in and out, in and out, in and out over and over again. Um, I could I'll probably put a separate deco surface on this so that way the things don't sink in on these here. In the small temple room, I wasn't as concerned about that on those walls with the crown molding that's halfway up the wall and stuff like that, because I think you guys can get creative with that type of stuff. But here, it's going to be pretty obvious that there's only a few types of things that you would put on the sides, and most of them will not look good sinking in. So I'll go ahead and do the alternate in and out, in and out, and in and out. Now the good thing, and obviously I know you're saying, but Ravelox, it's so much work for you to do. Oh, geez, don't do it. um, Once I get one side done, then I could group them together and then just drag them all the way over onto this side, and they will perfectly align because it's the same in and out pattern. And then I could use that same grouping and bring them to all the things. So once I do one, it will not be hard at all. So now you don't have to feel guilty that that you desperately want that to be done. It'll not be a big deal. These little steps will be more of a problem. But again, I'll probably be able to do some copying because I think these two are about the same. Maybe a little bit. Yeah, it's thin, thicker, thickest type of situation. But that's not a big deal. I just copy them over and then drag them, and you saw me resize the stuff. It's not that big of a deal. The problem I have now is that on virtually every wall there is an entrance, multiple entrances actually, which means I am going to have to take that one big deco surface that I made, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be great, and oh, I forgot it has collision. So I'm going to have to split this up and do one, one long one on this side, one long one on that side, and then come in here and do this again, and then of course the walls that have multiple doors at different spots. So as you can see, this is going to be a lot of repetitious work of getting it done, um, which because I scheduling, time management, scheduling my work. I need to do Lord of the Isle work today, being Thursday. So this will now go on hold until Friday night. Well, even Friday night's probably going to be Lottie, or maybe into Saturday. But if all goes well, I'll be streaming. I'll stream like every night. Maybe not Friday night because I'm DJing on Friday night. Um, so, but yeah, tonight what we just did was Wednesday into Thursday, so Thursday into Friday, I'll stream again and show you guys some Lottie stuff, and then I'll go back and I'll work on this as well on let's say Saturday. Um, get this one done Saturday, then either do some more maps or some more dungeon rooms. And so I'm starting to build up some steam, get things done. So Friday night, I take a little break. I have, uh, since we don't only do the official streams at the end of the month, Friday night at 10 p.m. I will, on a weekly basis, doing DJ duty on Mythical Music Radio. So I'm up there from 10 p.m. to midnight, and then after that, I'll go back to doing more Shroud of the Avatar work because I don't have a life. So that's about it. With all that said, I'm due to go to bed, but so yeah, it's a lot of work, and yes, I want to give you a lot of flexibility. That's exactly right. And so yeah, and of course now I'm just again, your chat is like way over there, and so yeah, as far as the Deco flip, now you know what it does, but there are actually about 6 items in the entire game that Deco Flip is currently attached to or assigned to. And every single one of them are items that should not have Deco Flip. It's like they're items like the candle, and that candle doesn't have it, but it's items like that that if you do the Deco Flip, it would do that and make them sink down into the ground. So I'm not going to tell you what they are, but obviously they're technically bugs, but I left them there because I needed examples as to how they worked and everything. So, hey, you're welcome for the stream. Thanks for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. I mean, I know there's a lot, many more better things you could do at your time than watch me sit here and ramble on and stuff. But I actually, if you weren't here, I'd be talking to myself anyway. So this is cool. The only thing that makes it more fun than having you guys here and chat with you while I'm doing stuff is when Justin joins me, and she makes the stream way more enjoyable for me, and I hope for you guys too. So. All right. Well, anyway, as I said, I need to go to bed. I have more work that I have to do and be up for within the next 6 hours. So, this is what it is. 18 hours a day sitting in this chair. So, anyway, with all that said, thanks again for joining me. And if you haven't subscribed, throw a subscription in there if you can. That would be great. And thanks for the follows that you have done tonight. And I'll see you guys probably later on this evening. Have a good one.